welcome to Ferri Unfiltered, and I have my amazing special guest, Steven Rinaldi. Hello, how are you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you. How you doing?
I am good. Try to get you nailed down because you're so busy. The busiest guy ever. So it's trying to get you pinned down. So I'm so glad to get you on the podcast, and I'm so glad to let the viewers and the listeners hear your story of how you started out and how you now are extremely successful within the industry. So you are obviously the owner of Primal Strength. Yep. Yeah, I was like, are you actually the owner of Primal Strength? And you're bamming me up. So obviously, the Primal Strength is now the UK, one of the UK's like top, obviously, like supplies a gym kit, everything like that. So, I mean, how did you even start out within the industry?
I'll rattle through a very quick story. So, left school quite young, sort of 15. Went to college with no qualifications to do an NC in like sports performance, basically. Right. So the lowest sort of level you could get into college at when I was 16. Did that, then I did my HND. Dropped out of my HND in the second year, and started working in a sports nutrition store.
Okay.
And working for the bank as a mortgage advisor. So I kind of had sort of Saturday job in a sports nutrition store, worked as a mortgage advisor, eventually went sort of progressed with the bank into a sort of better role, stopped doing the sports nutrition side, but really hated the bank side of things. And I was bodybuilding at the time with the BNBF, doing all the drug tested bodybuilding. And one of my friends worked for a company called Powerhouse Fitness.
Okay.
Said, look, we're looking for sales guys. Come and meet the owners. Went and met the owners. Started with them back in 2004, I think. Worked for them for 3 and a bit years. And at that time, a few of my friends were launching sports nutrition brands, PhD and a few others. And I was going to go and work with one of the brands. And then the owner of Powerhouse said, well, why don't we do a sports nutrition company? So we launched a company called Smart Tech Performance Nutrition. Mm-hmm. And then about 2008, something like that, I went and joined another company called Matrix Fitness. Back then they were called Johnson Health Tech. Okay. So you'll see Matrix Fitness in a lot of the gyms. Uh-huh. And that got me a lot more into the equipment side. And I was there as national sales manager, so I looked after big accounts like John Lewis and all the major sort of companies that sold, you know, fitness equipment. We had a couple of brands, Horizon and Vision Fitness and stuff. So at that point, I wasn't doing Smart Tech. And then I met David, who was the owner of Powerhouse, at one of the fitness shows. And he said, look, why don't you come back, you know, become a director of the business, we'll do Smart Tech properly, blah, blah, blah. So I think about 2010, 2011, went back to Lady or Leisure Group, which was Smart Tech, Body Max, Powerhouse.
Okay.
Became one of the directors, and it all really ran from there. 2011 to 2015, that business went absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. Exceptionally successful. We reduced the number of retail stores. We increased the home brand Body Max into Europe, into Amazon, loads of different channels. Smart Tech became really popular. You know, we had a lot of big football teams like Hearts and other clubs using it. I was spending a lot more time going out to China and out to Taiwan and doing the different fitness shows and seeing all the factories and stuff like that. And then 2015, we had a German retailer interested in buying David and Nigel's company. So their company had traded for like 30 odd years. Powerhouse had a lot of stores and different bits and bobs, and you know, it was the right time for the guys to sell the business. So included in that sale was Smart Tech and Body Max and absolutely everything. So at that point I was like, right, okay. So I sat down with my wife and was like, right, maybe it's time to go and do my own thing, you know.
Nice.
So I obviously had a small share in Smart Tech, and I'd been quite fortunate, you know. I was on relatively good income and stuff like that, and I'd been pretty sensible with my money and stuff. And I said to her, look, how about, you know, I launch my own fitness business. Obviously, might be a couple of years without a salary, and you know, maybe cut down the holidays and whatnot. So 2016, I think it was the April, or maybe early May, something like that. We started Primal. The brand didn't launch until the October or November of 2016. I had a third-party warehouse down in Hull. So we got our first 3 containers shipped in there. I got a couple of friends who were in the industry. Chris Bailey, the photographer, so one of the top fitness photographers in the world. I got Phil Lerny, one of the top PT coaches in the world.
Yep.
And then one of my other friends, a girl called Sandra Radav, who again is a very well-known WBFF figure champion. So literally the day the kit landed in Hull, we used Mark Bowding's gym, and we put 5 or 6 bits of kit in there, did some videos, did loads of photo shoots, everything like that. Within a week, we had that all online, and the website launched. Nice. And the first day we launched the website, we got a £1,000 sale. And everybody sort of says, "Oh, you launched the website and it went crazy." No way, I don't believe you. And we launched the website and it went crazy.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and never looked back. So my sister was one of the sales managers at Powerhouse, and I sort of persuaded her to join Primal on a bit of a salary cut, and I gave her a bit of equity in the business, and she now pretty much runs everything from head office. So yeah, that was the sort of, as quick as I could give you, overview of how we started Primal back in 2016, and I would say I was quite a confident person, but I never thought or could have believed how quickly it's grown to be this, you know, yeah, we're doing pretty well now. It's you know, it's a big old business now.
Definitely. I mean, even from when I remember phoning yous, and on the address it was Hull, and then when I phoned, it was definitely not someone from Hull that answered, and I was like, yeah. Then I knew you had another warehouse up here. And
yeah, we opened one in Coatbridge because Hull couldn't keep up with the orders. And I came up the third-party logistic thing just didn't work. So I was basically in the early days, so late 2016, early 2017, I was still at our office set up at home. Jana used to drive over from the west end of Glasgow. I live just outside Glasgow, and we worked from there. We processed the orders. You know, the third-party logistic company in Hull shipped them out. But it just wasn't really working. We needed full control. So I brought a good operations manager in. We set up a warehouse in Coatbridge, and within, again, a really short period of time, we had the full operation running out of Glasgow. The only mistake I think we made at that point was we just didn't forecast the business to grow as quickly as it did.
Right. So
we ended up doing 2 warehouse moves within a year. So the first warehouse we took on was like 10,000 square feet. And if I'm honest, Chris, I couldn't tell you how much stock I had back in 2017, but we're the same today, but we just could not keep it in stock. Right. And the second, 3 or 4 or 5 containers would come in, we just didn't have the working space. We didn't have the rack space to put any of the equipment to get it back out the door. But again, because of my Powerhouse days and everything like that, I knew quite a few different, shipping companies and hauliers and stuff like that, and as did my old ops manager, Robert. So we went and met William Armstrong Group out in Uddingston, where you've been out a couple of times.
Yeah.
To see the showroom. So we've now got, I think, 30,000 square foot warehouse there, 3,000 square foot office, and then the gym. So it's been a pretty quick move from 3PL logistics, small warehouse, to a relatively big warehouse. The scary thing is we're getting to capacity already in the current current setup. Yeah, it's been a pretty quick journey. Obviously, you've come in and tried the kit. It really is getting up there with some of the best in the world, and Any lines that I felt there's a better product out there in the market, either myself or somebody like Gavin Laird, who we work with closely, have gone in and worked to develop that, that piece of equipment or that range to truly make it the best. Even small things. So, yourself, you'll buy a lot of slam balls. We're on, I think, version 3 or 4 of slam balls, and we've doubled the thickness of the rubber, double sealed valve, small things like that, just so they don't burst every 6 months.
You've got very unique kit as well. That's the thing I love about you. You have got, like, for instance, like, he's brought out the hip thrust bar, and it was just like everybody was like, it was just like small ideas, like the wheels to wheel it into you would conserve so much energy. So you could then obviously we ran that competition with you, and you had the double bell, and like with the competition, I was like, this is genius. This is actually genius, because they've been able to do everything with it.
There's 2 interesting products. So they're both Gavs. So Gavin Laird, we licensed some products from Gavin, and I've known Gavin for a long time. We fitted out his gym up in Inverness, and I think he liked the brand because he was looking at it going, yeah, Steven's doing some different products. So, take our half rack with the swivel chin up handles and, a couple of different attachments. There's been a couple of copies since, but nobody's really managed to replicate that product. Certainly nowhere near the price that we sell it for. And that's what we kind of do, So the hip thrust bar, there's 2 aspects to it. One, it's padded, it's a nice design, it does wheel in very easily. But for me, as you get stronger guys and girls, trying to get into position with a hip thrust bar, or any bar for that matter, with 200 kilos on it to do a hip thrust is very hard. The fact that you can just rotate the handles and it raises the bar so that you can then get in position and then do your hip thrust, and you're not putting yourself out an angle or maybe damaging your lower back in any way. It's a really small thing, but when Gavin showed me the bar and his design, I was like, that's just perfect. And he's gone on and patented it and done all the design patents and stuff like that. But we are still a small enough company where if a client gives us feedback and says, look, I really like this product, but you can make it better doing this. If we think they've got a point and then we go and test it and think, yeah, that's a better idea than we've had, we'll literally instantly CAD design it, test it over in Asia, and then change that product. So you will see things like, our belt squat. So we took the original sort of belt squat that everybody was doing. We extended the base, we added an angled platform so that you could do stiff leg deadlifts. We thickened out the dip handle so you could do a lot heavier weighted dips. Put in commercial pillow block bearings because a lot of companies just use a standard bearing. Double handles so that you could have a full weighted resistance, so a full block resistance when you're doing the belt squat as well. The second handle also allows you to set up without kneeling on the platform. And it's a really small thing, but if you're having to go on a machine that's got a platform that's obviously non-slip, it's not going to be comfortable to kneel on. So just putting that second handle in place so that you can set up without having to kneel on the platform. It's small things like that, but nobody else is doing it. They're just unfortunately buying off the shelf. So they see a catalogue, or they go on Alibaba and they see a product and they buy it off the shelf, and then they say, oh, we're like Primal Strength, we import products the same way, and you're going, well, we're completely different. And it does cause us some delays, and it causes some headaches at the factory, and the QC work that goes in behind the scenes, the independent testing through Intertech, all these small things that Primal do, it does set us apart. And we're not perfect. There's going to be machines that turn up with a missing bolt, or a pad's damaged, or a container's delayed for 3 or 4 weeks. All brands have these challenges, but I think our customer service and ultimately our products are the 2 reasons why we've grown so quickly. Obviously, I've got a good sales team. Our head office. You've met the guys and girls there.
Good banter. Good banter.
They're a good banter. They're a good bunch. We don't take ourselves too seriously. I work silly hours. I'm the sort of sad guy that's sitting on his phone at 11 o'clock at night answering Instagram and Facebook messages and emails and stuff. But
I'm the same, mate. I feel But I think if you're very, very passionate about something and you want to grow, you're the same. You've got a young family, so you'll be able to
Yeah.
obviously like, support your family and stuff like that. But I mean, you've done like from you saying from launching in 2016. I mean, you have even kitted out a whole section of the in Birmingham, the fitness exhibition, like the largest, obviously like
Yeah.
the largest in the UK. And I mean, yous basically ran riot at that. I remember just checking my Instagram, my Facebook, and it was, you name it, whatever Insta influencer or fitness model was on your stage training
Yeah.
with your kit, and it was brilliant to see, especially with a Scottish company down there. And just, I'm quite patriotic, but it was like, this is
same,
great.
yeah.
So it was brilliant to see that, especially because I've been to the fitness exhibition. It's insanely huge, and the names that go are insane. How was that?
And we didn't pay for that either. So, you know, the guys that run Body Power, Steve Orton and Nick Orton, two great guys, worked with them a long time. And we're talking about how to make the show better and different things to do. And it basically came down that the show needed a proper gym.
Mm-hmm.
So we did an agreement where, you know, we paid for the stand as everybody else pays for the stand. You don't get freebies at Body Power. It's far too big a commercial event. But what we agreed was that we would put on, and we did a 150 square meter gym, and then they would bring some of the top athletes. But we had, you know, Phil Heath, Tom Coleman, Sonny Webster, Luke Stoltman, Ulysses. I mean, like, it was ridiculous. It was just, you know, superstar after superstar. You know, every single one of them, 1 million plus followers on Instagram, and happily training on the kit. We James Alexander Ellis did a Q&A with them all. Honestly, they couldn't have been nicer people. They all picked a bit of kit, trained on it, taught people through training. Obviously, Body Power was cancelled this year, which was a bit of a shame. But next year we've got the same 150 square meter gym, and then at FIBO 2021, which is in April, which is the biggest fitness show in the world. You know, that's the main show. We've just booked a 136 meter stand next to Techno Gym in Ziva.
Oh,
so yeah, we're going for it. We're going for it.
Go for it, man.
But yeah, it's been, like, at the end of the day, I think, you know, products effectively sell themselves. If you've got a good product and you're active in social media, as I say, good customer service, you know, we're honest. So if something's not going to be in stock until October, it says on our website, not going to be in stock until October.
Yeah.
You know, at the moment, we're having some serious issues with delays from ports. So how our business works, you know, let's say I've placed an order in, for talking sake just now, I've placed it in March. That, pre-COVID, that would have taken sort of 50 days to manufacture, and then about 40 days in the water. So about 90-day turn. So you've got April, May, June, that would be delivered early July. What's happening now is the factories are taking 70 to 90 days because they're all struggling to get all the components in.
Okay.
You've then got less sea freight going across from Asia because all the factories have all been delayed. So your sea freight's taking longer. And then at every port, there's a COVID delay. There's some sort of delay. So we've had shipments where we've said to customers, you know, we expect it in July. And we're having to go back to them in July and say, look, this has been delayed 4 weeks and it's August. And it's never, you know, an easy conversation to have. But I think every business is going through the same thing. But it's the first time in, as I say, so I started selling supplements in 2002. Been selling fitness equipment since 2004. This is the first time this year would have ever seen delays like this. But again, I think we're being as honest and as customer friendly and proactive as we can be, you know. I mean, I had the full team in on Friday and Saturday. So we had 3 containers land on Friday and 2 containers on Friday, 1 on Saturday.
Right.
And full warehouse and one of my operations staff came in on Saturday to get the not only the container in, but get the container then booked onto our system and the orders booked back out. Because it's still a manual process, even in this day and age with all the technology. every order you do, you've still got to print a label. You've still got to print a sticker for the barbell tube, or the 4 stickers for the pallet that it goes out on.
Uh-huh.
So it's a real testament to the team back in the office how, we're talking thousands of orders a month at the moment. So, for those guys to be getting those out daily, pick accuracy is very high. As I say, that we just don't have that many faults because, well, one, it's strength equipment, so it's not overly complicated.
Yeah.
But two, good QC back in Asia, and some of the faults are when you're running a batch of, let's say, 60 bikes or 100 power racks or 200 benches, you might get the odd one that's not been QC checked properly.
Right, okay.
And it's just about how Prime will deal with that, right? So it's about making sure that customer can phone us Monday to Friday or can send an email 24/7, and then we get back to them within 48 hours and have a resolution for them.
Uh-huh.
And that's the difference. There's so many companies that I deal with personally out with fitness that don't have that level of service. There's so many companies in fitness that don't have that level of service, and the reason why challenger brands like Primal a couple of years ago could grow so quickly was because we came in and said, right, okay, we're not only going to hang our hat on our product quality, but we're going to hang our hat on our customer service and our sales guys being good. You've had, I think, 2 or 3 gym designs from us. It's another big aspect of what we do. I must have designed in the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know, 300 or 400 gyms easily, and it's one of those things where if I can say to you, look, Chris, this is how your gym's going to look. Come and test the kit. You like the kit. Prices are really reasonable, and you've got good aftercare.
Well, this is
it makes it a bit of a no-brainer, right?
Right. Well, exactly. When I obviously was I was used who'd I use? Wilferson. I'd used him first, and then when I came to you guys, and obviously when you're going to set up a gym, you're going to go and see all different types of kit, try out different types of kit, and obviously when I went to you guys, like you say, things like there's an idea of what your gym will look like with this kit in. That helped me massively because my arse was collapsing thinking, where will this leg press go and how will this sit in here? And just that design alone showing me, well, this is where it can sit. Then you go, well, actually, I could probably fit that in there because it helped me with space, because going about with a measuring tape and guesstimating where things are going to go. And that, but like you say, that the after service has helped us loads in the fact that you are very friendly. Like Laura goes up there and she's like the nicest people ever. It helps me out. But even when it came to Christmas time, we were getting benches, and it was your sister that says, I don't understand why you're not getting blue benches in. And it never even crossed my mind. And we put the blue benches in the gym, and now the members love the blue benches because they're like, it just brightens the place up, and it's insane. It did just, well, there in the background, but it brightened it up, and it's been really good. So no, you definitely do set everything apart. I mean, do you ever fancy like branching into like Europe and then America? Would that be like a goal for you?
So we supply 23 countries, I think, just now. So we do a lot of European countries. We've got containers. So we basically, Primal sells directly in pretty much every country, apart from we've got exclusive distribution agreements in France, Sweden, a few different countries of exclusive distribution where they buy from us either FOB, which is they buy our containers directly from the factory,
right,
or they buy stock from our UK warehouse. Okay. So yeah, we're in, I think, 23 different countries doing that. Interestingly, you mentioned the States, so it's always been a big goal of mine. And we've got 1 or 2 interested parties just now.
Brilliant.
Discussing that. I think Primal would work really well in the States. I think our branding's kind of spot on for what they're looking for over there. And there's a couple of monster companies over there. Obviously Rogue are a big company there, on the sort of barbell and rack side of things, plates, etc., etc. But they don't do any plate loaded stuff. And then there's a couple of good plate loaded companies like Arsenal Strength and Prime USA. So there's a couple of big sort of Titan companies. Sorinex is another one that I follow closely and like. But I almost feel with a good mix of all of those 4 or 5 brands, and if somebody wanted that full gym turnkey solution, Primal would probably be the company that could supply that.
Yeah.
I also think the home market in the States, the garages are a lot bigger. Their ceiling heights are a lot higher. They're, without being disrespectful to anybody in the UK, they would have a lot of a larger number of educated fitness people who would be willing to spend a little bit more on a rack or a little bit more on a barbell and some plates. So by that, I don't mean to be rude to anybody in the UK. It's just naturally a more advanced, bigger market in the States. In the UK just now, I'm in a lot of the home gym forums and different things. The starting point in the UK just now, the majority of home users is still very much a price point. And Prime was never been, the company where we make a $30 bench and sell it for £60. That's not our business model. So because we have a slightly more premium line, you're alienating yourself from that entry-level price point market. Whereas in the States, they don't really tend to have that very, very entry-level market. I think that even when you look at like Dick's Sporting Goods, which is one of the big retailers out in the States, so our factory in Asia manufacture for them, the base level stuff that they take in would be classed as like mid-level here in the UK.
Right, okay.
So for me, Primal then fits in perfectly for that target demographic. The challenges are obviously in the States, it's, your marketing spend is going to have to be a lot bigger. Your shipping from one state to the next to, everything like that is if you imagine doing Primal the way we've done it in the UK and Europe and then timesing it by 30 or 40, that's what we're talking about. So it's something I would love to do. It's something that's actively on my radar. Whether we do that, whether we manage to do it to the level that I would want to do it, I'm not 100% certain yet, Chris. So by that, I mean, I wouldn't do it half-arsed.
No,
excuse the language. But
no,
I wouldn't
totally.
go and, I wouldn't go and say, right, let's bring in 3 containers into the States. Because what would be the point?
Aye.
When I started Primal back in 2016, I brought in 3 containers. It was like I only had a set amount of money, and I had to make sure my vision. I obviously knew the market, but you've still got to make sure your vision is actually right, and you've got to make sure that people do buy into the Primal Strength brand and people are willing to spend. So back then, I think we launched our first rack. It was £1,000.
Right.
But £1,000 to you as a gym owner with the spec of our rack, you're like, that's good value. But to some people, they might go on to Argos or Fitness Superstore or any of these home companies, and they'll see a rack for, I don't know. I mean, just now all the rack prices for the home stuff's all inflated because of COVID.
Frightening. But, frightening. I get quoted 100 and. What I was saying to the guys up at your bit the other day, somebody phoned me and says, I see you're a gym owner. Do you need some dumbbells? And by that point, I'd already put an order in with you guys, and I was like, yeah, totally need some dumbbells. I was like, I wonder what price he's going to charge me. Yeah. And what was it, it was something like £120 for a set of 10s. And I was like, you are actually kidding me on. Yeah. But it's
like
as you say, inflation.
But I've seen £6 a kilo for hex dumbbells, and I'm like, this is insane. Like, a top set of urethane dumbbells, no bother, £6 all day long. But hex dumbbells, it's frightening. And then, so before COVID, I think, we were 1,000, 1,200 quid for a good half rack, and other companies were maybe like anywhere between 300 for a real basic one up to, some companies do take the mickey, and they were like 4 or 5 grand for the half rack. But I felt like, when I launched Primal, those first 3 containers, I had no idea whether, a £400 bench and a £1,200 or £1,000 at that time rack were going to sell, and they did. Now I look at the States and think, you're talking your first order is going to be 20, 30 containers, and a serious investment. We've got a relatively large Instagram following in terms of we're a Scottish-based strength and fitness company. So like 30,000 followers, all organic. We don't buy any followers. It's just naturally growing. In the States, some of the big boys have 1 million followers. Yeah. So, the scale is just intensified, and you would need to go out there. You would need to go and do Ursa. Ursa is one of the big fitness shows out in San Diego. So you need to go and do, LA Expo, 3 or 4 big fitness shows. You would need to get some influencers involved. It would be a serious investment. And, I just need to make sure that that's the route I want to go down. Because if we were to do that, we would need to then add some extra staff into the UK team. And yeah, it's a pretty huge step. It's not like saying, okay, we're going to sell today. And so we just signed an agreement last week for a distributor in France. So the company that we've taken on there, Valky Group, are the Life Fitness distributor in France and Belgium.
Okay.
Really reputable guy. Henry that owns it. Met him a couple of times now. Lovely guy. Likes Primal. And I think they'll do a really good job for us. But that was such an easy decision because, huge reputable company, and met the owner. They want to work with us. First few orders are placed and it'll be successful. But I couldn't do the same decision that quickly with the States. It's just far too big a market. So
vast as well. It's like you're going from the destinations that, as you say, everything would have to travel is just frightening. Whereas Europe's no bad. This is pretty good for you, but it's good you're nailing it. All these markets, every sound. So everyone's going extremely well for Primal, which I'm very glad to see. So obviously you've got there your goals, maybe like tapping into America. Now, obviously everything is going brilliant with your business. So are you quite liking the fact that you're seeing more people train, and like obviously like I follow your Instagram, that are you enjoying seeing that more people are using like the kit like for home? Like I've been watching like Olympic bars, bumper plates. I mean, they're doing all this in the house now. Like, how are you feeling about
that? It's a real strange one. So, I never really designed. Primal has probably, I think, 400 odd SKUs, but I think maybe 10 or 20 of them were designed for like at home, as in, they weren't warranted to train in a gym. Whereas now I'm seeing people spending, 5 figures comfortably on home gyms.
Aye.
And it's a different market. I mean, we've done some fantastic projects recently. We did a site in London, true story, very successful entrepreneur who didn't have any more space in his London townhouse to build. So he built a tree house, and I mean a proper tree house, and created a full gym where he had to like get one of the cranes to bring the equipment in to the treehouse, and then our guys installed it, and you've never seen anything like it. So we're getting some really amazing home projects. Obviously we work with a lot of professional athletes like footballers, obviously all the Celtic guys, and a lot of different Premiership English players, a lot of the England rugby boys now. So we've got 4 or 5 of those guys. So that side of the home stuff for me is great fun. I get a buzz obviously when professional athletes are, and we're again like new markets. So we've just done Josh Taylor, the world champion boxer, the Scottish boy. So we've just done Josh's gym. Leon Edwards, big MMA star. We've just done his. So I love all that stuff, obviously. Anything that's sports specific and covers the performance sector, I love. The home customers where, they create these amazing garage gyms, I love. But I don't think for me anything beats doing a proper gym like yours or a performance centre. That, see, when I walk into these sites and you take a step back and go, wow, we've just fitted out this full facility.
Yeah.
That was the goal for me. The full turnkey solution, creating gyms walking into a gym on a Monday night, 6:30, and there's 100 people training on, all the different equipment you've designed over the years. That's the real buzz.
That'd be an amazing buzz. That'd be brilliant. It must be. It's what stage you've got to, but in your career. But this has been. It's been amazing. Now I want to dive in a bit deeper and start asking you some random questions so people find some other things about you. Right, we'll start off really simple then, Stephen. Right, so obviously it's very unfiltered. Usually my plan was, when I was starting the podcast, to be offering my guest a coffee, but I can't. Right, so what type of coffee do you take?
Always an espresso, mate.
Oh, see, good Italian man. Good Italian man. This is fine. I like that. It's a good answer. Right, then we'll start really simple. We'll keep everyone Italian in this. What's your favourite pizza topping?
Oh, I'd probably say like salsiccia or pepperoni, something along those lines.
Again, good answer. Good answer. My first time I done this and asked, and it was they said pineapple. It broke my heart. It broke my heart. It honestly broke my heart. Right, and then now this is a wee one you need to think about. You can invite 5 people to dinner, right? And they can be dead or alive. They're not physically dead. You're just bringing them back from the past, right? But people that maybe you admired or somebody you just like to have a conversation with. So 5 of them, who would they be?
Right, so I've been watching the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yes.
So definitely Michael Jordan. I think he'd be good fun. I used to play a lot of poker when I was younger. I don't play anymore because I don't have any time. But there was a poker star called Phil Ivey who was like just an enigma. Like, guy was when he was at his peak of playing poker was unbeatable.
Right.
And in a game where there's it's a very highly skilled game, but there is luck in it. This guy was unbeatable. So we'll say Phil Ivey. I'm a Celtic fan, so I've got to say Henrik Larsson.
It's a good choice.
Who else? God, you've caught me off guard here. I don't know. Elon Musk, maybe he'd be a good laugh.
It'd be definitely interesting.
And I suppose then to complete the table, and maybe go Joe Rogan because he could host it. And I like his podcasts.
That is there you go, mate. That's a very interesting table.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting table. Mate, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your journey. It's great, and that's the whole idea of the podcast, is to meet people like yourself, and you're very inspirational with the fact of where you've went from where you're at now, and you're still aiming to grow bigger and bigger. So thanks very much, Stephen, for joining me on Ferri Unfiltered.
No worries, mate. Thank you very much.
Thanking you.